もう国には帰れねえかもしれねえな。
What are you doing with your life? I think that's a question not a lot of people are willing to answer deep down in their hearts. Understandable, right? Nobody wants to think about why they're here on this earth. Nobody wants to have an existential crisis because life is just too vast and filled with so much enjoyment. It would be a distraction from our precious entertainment. But a purpose in life needs to be addressed. It's not something that can simply be put down using the excuse, "I'll deal with it later," or giving a half-hearted response to that question just to keep the lid on the pot, to stop it from bothering you anymore. Because no matter what, the hole in your heart where your purpose needs to be will continue to grow even if you keep covering it up, instead of filling it in like you should. Not only will it bring sadness and guilt in your life, but it will also suck away the joy that you're living through right now, bit by bit. Purpose. What is your purpose? And where are you going with it? After watching Attack on Titan's final episode, I've been contemplating a lot about purpose. What I'm doing with my life. What are my goals? Who I want to be? And this shonen anime has helped me answer some of that. The show deals with the theme of purpose in an interesting way. The notion that your efforts need to have some worth was shown all the way back in the 22nd episode, which at the time was focusing on sacrifice and what it really meant to be a soldier, or in this case, a good human being. And as I rewatched this episode, I couldn't help but draw parallels between it and the finale, and how it takes your hope into a chokehold and demands you an answer. Is what you're doing with your life going to be worth it? At this point in the story, Levi and his scouts must go on a mission to defeat the female Titan. But things don't go as well as they want. Levi's closest friends get killed brutally, Eren almost gets taken away, and many more die due to Dieter's decision to save one corpse, in the end losing that very body anyway, as well as most of the others, dead or alive. When the scouts come back, there is a lot of discord. The villagers around them start to complain about the scouts' efforts.
今朝より数が少なくなってないか
かなり減ってるな。
今回もひどいな。朝から叫び回って出てったと思ったらもう帰ってきやがった。何しに行ったんだ。さあな。
Edwin gets questioned left and right. Are the deaths of these people worth it? Are we one step closer to saving humanity? And he doesn't answer. As the scouts make their way through the crowd, broken and grieving, Eren gets up to see a child among them, with starry eyes and a wide smile. And the child, despite seeing these scarred people being criticized and shamed for failing, he says something peculiar. The message that this child says is strange, because it's supposed to be a message of hope. After so much destruction and trauma, these words should encourage the soldiers, make them more confident that yes, they can save humanity, especially after all the negative comments they just received. But they don't. Instead, they are even more saddened by this. Saddened because they could not accomplish their goal, even with all the deaths and sacrifices that they made, because they're not even a step closer to saving humanity at all. A painful reminder that they aren't doing enough. When you have a purpose, you need to first understand what that purpose is, what sacrifices are worth achieving it, and most importantly, how you will go on if what you are dedicating your life to suddenly fades away. Here, the Survey Corps' purpose is to save humanity, and their sacrifices are destruction to their infrastructure, their health, their own lives. Even their motto is, "Give up your own dreams and die." And yet, humanity already seems ungrateful for their sacrifices because they weren't worth it. They couldn't complete their mission successfully, bring back a lot of their soldiers alive, couldn't even bring back their corpses, or prove to their own kind that they could make it better. Their sacrifices for their own purpose wasn't worth it. If your purpose is amassing wealth, what will your purpose be if all that money is spent or stolen? If your purpose is getting good grades in school, what will you do when you can't get anywhere with them? If your purpose is protecting the ones you love, what are you going to do when they die? If your purpose for living is finite, just like how it seems with pleasing humanity, how will you continue to go on when it inevitably perishes? And what would those sacrifices mean if your purpose suddenly seems hopeless? Finding a reason to live and make your sacrifices worthwhile is something Attack on Titan doesn't give a concrete answer to. Not exactly. In the finale, Armin talks to Zeke about his purpose. Maybe it was to live those sweet memories, to race to the tree on top of the hill on a sunny day. Zeke just wanted to play catch forever. Mikasa wanted to stay by Eren's side. Eren wanted to destroy 80% of humanity. Levi wanted to live with no regrets. The Survey Corps wanted to save humanity. These were why the characters wanted to live. And yet, Armin admits to accepting he's a sinner, undeserving of those happy memories anymore. Zeke accepts that he too doesn't deserve anything good, after all the things he's done. Mikasa kills the very person she wanted to protect. Eren feels regret over the fact that he couldn't control his rage and killed almost everybody. Levi grieves because his comrades couldn't stay with him. The Scouts still could not preserve the peace of humanity because it just keeps going into war. All these purposes are temporary. They come and go, and some even wait to punish them in the afterlife. Is it worth it? Will your efforts truly bring peace if it dies or fails anyway? Whether to you or something else? The truth is that fighting for something finite is not worth it. It's not an anchor you can hold on to in times of need because it's not permanent. And that's what the true world is, right? I think that's what Attack on Titan teaches overall. This world is a prison. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear it said that way, saying it's pessimistic or negative, but it's a hard truth even I have trouble swallowing. Everything eventually dies one day. Everything is temporary, and a temporary place can never be your home. No matter how hard you try to make it be, going back to it over and over again won't give you that satisfaction or safety, and so you feel like you're never going to be at peace with yourself, whether you sacrifice your health, your dreams, or your life. Unless you find something beyond yourself, something infinite, a purpose that will last forever even after you die, because when you do, it will be worth all your sacrifices. Your work will pay off in the end. All you need to do is find something infinite. What is that infinite thing? Near the beginning of episode 22, Connie and Sasha have a conversation about sacrifice. Sasha wants to keep things positive and says that they were fortunate that they, as well as their friends, could make it out alive. But Connie points out if she could say the same for the dead, how they couldn't make it out, but the others did, when the mission wasn't even completed like how they wanted it to be. He says, and that hits hard. It shows that the Scouts can never get true relief no matter how many times they fight. There's no home to go back to, and it shows the ugly truth of life. This world is not perfect, and we should not live in it leisurely all the time. Most of the things that pretty it are fake, harmful, or wrong, and not worth your time or energy. Not really. Unless you find that infinite thing. I want to go home, but I can't. Not when home is not here, because a home is a place where nothing goes to waste, when your sacrifices become worth it in the end. You need to find a purpose that lasts forever, not something that can potentially die in your lifetime, nor something that will die out shortly after, like humankind. Of course, that doesn't mean that humankind doesn't matter, or education, wealth, or love of others. They do matter. But centering yourself completely around those things will only cause more harm to yourself. We see many instances in everyday life of corporate greed, doing everything and anything to be a people pleaser even if it hurts, and wounding your sleep and mental health to get a high number on sheets of paper. You will become a shell of what you once were. And after all that, the question still is, what are you doing with your life? Is your purpose finite? And are your sacrifices worth it? Because you need to have something to fight for. You just have to keep going, right? Right?